Welcome to another episode of Two Brothers, Same Mother. Of course, we got Sheik and AJ going over everything that happened this past week with the Eagles. I got to say, even though there was a loss, even though it was a double-digit loss, I feel a lot better out of this game than I did out of that Monday night debacle. And there's a few questions that have popped up too that I'm going to go into as well, especially considering the fact that we're about, a little less than a quarter of the way through the season too. So I'm actually going to start with you, AJ. Tell us some positive things that you saw out of that Chiefs game Sunday.
Sirianni's game plan offensively was a lot better. Even it hasn't been that good since week one. It's against San Fran, Dallas. It was better than both those games. Still needs to run the ball a little bit more. I'm not saying like a whole bunch more, but there were other opportunities, but it was far more superior. And I think offensively, this team just needs to realize that the identity is the small ball.
I agree. I like the plan. I personally wish they'd run the ball just a tad bit more.
Exactly.
Now, the concept of what you're looking for, which is small chunks, then take your shots, is there. For me, I'm a little bit more of a traditionalist in the fact that we have a piece in Miles Sanders who now, this is two coaching staffs now who don't seem to want to utilize him that much. And I'll get to that in a minute. Granted, it's only 4 weeks in. Who knows? I mean, granted, we went from 3 rushes to 12, but how could you complain about that offense? We didn't punt.
Yeah. And had no turnovers.
Right. We had a turnover on downs, which was desperation. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you some coaching questions. All right. Okay. The offensive line. Granted, I understand the Chiefs, the line is that they're NFL defense, right? They're NFL defense. Mm-hmm. I thought that offensive line, especially with some shuffling around last minute, where Driscoll was supposed to play right guard and ended up playing right tackle, looked pretty decent. The biggest thing with just the offensive line, Andre Dillard in particular, and the team in general, is the penalties. I mean, they might actually break a record for penalties if they continued with this pace, which I don't think they will. One, Andre Dillard now has had 3 penalties on an RPO where he was way upfield and negated big plays. How do you go about fixing that with Andre Dillard? And then overall, how do you go about fixing this penalty issue?
Man,
I know that's a lot. So,
man.
By the way, before you continue, when they asked Sirianni, and I feel it was just off the cuff at the end of the game, he said, that's happened now 4 times where someone was upfield. Maybe just remove it out of the playbook, which I really don't want to see, because all 4 times you got the result you wanted. It was like a touchdown or a big play. It's just getting these linemen, and like I said, 3 times with Dillard. I think 1 time it might have been, Dickerson, to understand, like, bro, or Hurts got to get it out sooner. I don't know, but it looks like the play works. You just got to make sure you guys do the little things. So I just throw that out there.
In this league, it's especially when you have a lot of these quarterbacks, these mobile quarterbacks. That's a big part of this NFL offenses, should I say? And a lot of teams don't seem to have that much issue. To me, it's more of a Dillard thing, because we ran those type of plays against Atlanta, right? Mailata didn't have that issue.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
very true.
You know what I mean? So it's a.
I mean,
there are certain things.
It did happen against Atlanta too, by the way, where somebody was upfield, but I think it was Lane Johnson.
Yeah, but that was on. I think that was. I don't even know if that was the RPO. I don't remember.
Right, I don't remember. I know, and that's the thing. I mean, we're talking about 4 weeks ago. I don't know if that was a Hurts extended the play or if it was an RPO. But
I mean, now it has happened. It happened in against not in San Fran, but against San Fran, and it happened a couple times in Dallas. Now I will say in those two games, it was because Hurts did not pull the trigger.
right.
In this game, the RPO either hand it off or he threw it. He faked a handoff and he threw it, and the dude was downfield.
Right, and look, we didn't run much RPO when I played. In high school, and the 1 year, I was on practice squad with Temple. But with stuff like that, where there was some sort of option there, sometimes you'd have the triple option pass or something. We used to just, now it's very simplified, you would hear people yell almost like how on a punt return, go, go, go. That meant it was a run. Go, it was handed off. I don't think that's going to work. Things move too quickly, but is there some sort of signal that you could give to let them know it's a run, or is it just one of those things when RPOs, you got to trust the running backs will make somebody miss? Like what?
I think maybe maybe you could time it. Like with a timing thing, like have a clock 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. If it's not there, I mean, like I said, I don't understand why. Because look, when they do it, right, most of the times they do it to the left. And once again, Mailata didn't have this issue. The left guards aren't having these issues. Like you said, Lane Johnson did it one time, but when he was up, Driscoll and for the most part, it's just Dillard is the one that has this issue.
And what I don't get to, and just for people that don't understand RPOs, obviously run pass option. If you go beyond 1 yard, if you're blocking your guy beyond 1 yard and you're upfield beyond 1 yard, right, then you're considered, ineligible receiver downfield. If you're running the ball,
it's not like he's 1.5.
He's like 6
yards down the field. Yeah,
and I don't know if Dillard thinks, I got my guy and I'm impressing this block or what. But the whole point of an RPO, you hand the ball off when the guy you're keying in is going after the QB. So it's not like you have to have these driving blocks. You don't, because the whole idea when you hand the ball off is the guys, your running back should be able to get 4 or 5 yards. That's the point of RPO. If he can't get 4 or 5 yards, or if you're handed it off in short yardage, get 2, whatever, then you're passing it. So you don't need them to do it. As a lineman, it confuses me that this keeps happening with Dillard because maybe it's just he doesn't know the players. It's a Dillard thing. Quarter of the way through, if you had to give some couple grades, and I'm not going to say specific things, but what are you giving good grades to? What are you giving bad grades to?
I want to continue to give good grades to the offensive line and the coaching. I want to give good grades to that.
Who the coach, the offensive line coach, and I forget his name, but
Jeff Stoutland, absolutely.
Stoutland's the one guy you ain't got to worry about on this whole team,
right?
Right. I would think Devontae Smith, you got to give a positive grade to.
I give Devontae a positive grade. I give Quez. I mean, I'll just say the receivers overall, I'll give them a C+.
Well, I mean, to me,
and that's because you're having two decent guys like in Devontae Smith and Quez Watkins, and then you got that dude, Rieger.
That's a shame that Rieger's just some dude, man.
Just some dude, that you can run some trick plays with here and there. You know what I'm saying?
That's a shame.
But it's just so that's why I said C+, because you got guys that are and then you got guys that are So
I mean, Devontae Smith
as a group.
Devontae Smith to me is a B right now, with the possibility of getting an A. Quez Watkins is a B+ to me, only because my expectations weren't super high for him, and he's reaching expectations to show he can ball. Right, everybody else is a C. I can't give J.J. Arcega-Whiteside a D or an F just because I expect him to be taking the test.
You literally making the team because you can block on a run and on screen.
What kind of stuff is that?
Come on, man.
But for me, Sirianni, the fact that he's trying to figure himself out, but seems to have getting stuff right with this offense, and Jalen Hurts, seeing them go through adversity, I look at them as they are brighter spots, and I'm not glad that they lost the way they did against the Cowboys, but I'm kind of am glad that I could see how they were going to react to such a big loss. If that makes sense. Now granted, you're going up against a team that you weren't expected to win. There was no pressure, but I mean, in Philly, there's always pressure, though, right? You're the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's fucking borderline, fucking pathetic. Never mind. But it's just, I agree with you with the Sirianni thing, and I agree with you with the Hurts thing. Like, we knew it's going to be roller coaster. You know what I'm saying? And I expected that. Hopefully, it'd be more ups. You know what I mean? More, and then the downs in some of these. But
right now, it's very loose.
Yeah. Like if you look at, okay, they've played 4 games, right? He's looked fantastic in Atlanta. Looked average, average against San Fran.
Looked dreadful against Dallas.
Yeah, against Dallas, and looked really good yesterday. So you right now you put him at good.
Well, here's what I'm saying. This is one thing I like about Jalen Hurts being a young QB. They made a comment to him after the game saying that, because they had interviewed Sirianni first, that Sirianni felt that this was the best game he's had, and just asked him like, hey, how do you feel about that? And Jalen Hurts said, what do you mean we lost? And it's like that. It's all learning experience and stuff. Like, I mean, I don't know what you expect him to say or whatever, but I kind of appreciate the fact that the dude is still keeping the big picture out in the forefront.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's get something straight. Sirianni needs to relax because he literally said it's one of the best quarterback performances he's ever seen.
Yeah,
ever.
He's a little too much. He also said Jonathan Gannon stoned the Atlanta Falcons high-potent offense and stoned the San Francisco 49ers offense. So we need to get off of Gannon's back. Easy, bro. He didn't stone anything. He might have been stoned calling those plays.
He didn't stone anything. Once again, and I will say this every week that we record. Atlanta freaked out because they were down by 2 scores, but we could not stop the run. Bro, I could probably rush for 100 yards, and I haven't played running back since 10th grade. I could probably get 100 yards against this Eagles defense.
So I guess the one final thing I'm going to touch on, well, there's 2 things, okay, before I get into one more aspect that's kind of looking into the future with this team. One, who needs to talk to Jonathan Gannon about doing something else beyond what he's doing? Because I'm going to be honest, the game plan itself, as far as whole, of I'm going to make the Chiefs drive 13, 14 plays and not give up the big play, I don't think was that bad. What was bad was your red zone defense couldn't stop anybody. You turn even two of those touchdowns to field goals. It's a totally different game. And you couldn't do it.
Let me explain. So you would understand more than any Eagles fan that's been around for a long time would understand this. Our run defense is so bad, Andy Reid committed to it.
Right.
Andy Reid ran the ball 20 to 25 times against us.
And
made
sure both running backs got a touchdown.
Bro, Andy Reid committed to the run. That's how bad this run defense is. Now, people, listen, there's Eagles insiders that are saying, hey, it's because of the personnel, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just going to say it this simple, okay? You have, when they got hired on, Sirianni, Gannon, all the position coaches, we don't have a system. We run a system that's to the strength of our players that we have.
Right.
Your corners and your safeties are all pretty much man corners.
And you're running zone all the time.
Hey, you are running so much. You've run man 9% of the time this season.
No,
4 games, 9%. I mean, you're in zone 91% of the time. That is fucking ridiculous.
This is what makes me sick to say, but it's really true. My man need to look at our division leaders in Dallas and Dan Quinn and seeing what he has turned Diggs into. They got Diggs looking like Deion Sanders out there. Now the kid is doing his part, but that is scheme. Dan Quinn is making that. Now, don't get me wrong, they got talent too, but Slay and Nelson and McLeod, they're not bums. They're not bums. The linebackers are pulling their weight right now. They're not superstars, but they're pulling their weight.
They're okay.
Better than what we've had the past 5 years.
That's not saying a whole lot.
But it's still true. Better than what we've had the past 5 years. The bottom line, to me, with this defense, it all goes on scheme and Gannon just not doing anything. And this whole rush 4, and when you are blitzing someone, it's so obvious that they can pick up on it real simple. And the schemes are so obvious. It looks like he's playing checkers and everybody else is playing chess, man. Like
absolutely. Bad. I mean, this reminds me, like, prior to the season with everything, all the hype, we kept saying, 2016, 1999, but this is 2013. And if you remember back in 2013, went out to Washington, right? Opening night, and Chip we trust. You know what I mean? Up and down the field, looked fantastic. Then we came home, got an ass spanked by Kansas City. Then went to someplace else. I forget where we played after that. It got spanked again. Then in week 4, we went to Denver and lost 55-10. This is eerily similar to that. Now, granted, the schedule got mad easier after that. That year, because we played Green Bay, I think, after that, and then they started Seneca Wallace, and then he got hurt, and Scott Tolzien came in. Then we played the Raiders, who had just came off who weren't that good anyway, just came off an emotional win off of Pittsburgh.
And by the way, just to give some reference, we all knew the Washington game, which ended up being 33-27. Right. We lost to the Chargers 33-30.
Chargers, yeah.
Then we lost to Kansas City 26-16, and they got spanked by Denver 52-20, as you said. We ended up beating the Giants in New York. We ended up beating Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay. Lost to Dallas, lost to New York. But then we won 7 of their last 8, and it was against Oakland, who sucked, against Green Bay, who at the time I don't think had a starting quarterback that was Favre or Rodgers.
Yeah, like I said, it was Seneca Wallace. That was the game. Remember, Seneca Wallace started, and then he was so bad they replaced him with Scott Tolzien.
Right. Then you played the Redskins, beat them. You played the Cardinals, beat them. Played Detroit, beat them. Lost at Minnesota, and that was the game that that wasn't the game I was thinking of. Beat Chicago, and then you beat Dallas at the end of the season.
That was with Sidney. I think it was Sidney Rice just went off on us.
Yeah.
Sidney Rice, and what was the ball? Percy Harvin.
Oh, that's Minnesota you're talking about.
Yeah, the Minnesota game. Yeah.
So we won, and here's the whole thing. I'm not suggesting it, but I'm curious to see how you deal with this Carolina Panthers team without McCaffrey. Because, I'm curious to see the Raiders are 3-0. We're recording this on Monday, so we'll see what they do against the Chargers. We're curious to see what you do against Las Vegas. I'm not saying win or loss, but I look at games. I look at Detroit. I look at 2 games against Washington. I look at 2 games against the Giants. I look at the Jets. I look at Carolina. I look at New Orleans. You're talking about that if you're being really optimistic, you can get 8 or 9 wins. If we're being realistic, you should at least split with Washington, split with the Giants, beat the Jets, and beat the Saints.
And Detroit.
You know what I mean? That's 5 wins. That takes you to 6. And maybe you beat Dallas at the end of the year. It takes you to 7.
Right.
But there is a path for you to go on a nice – I'm not saying make the playoffs, but go on a nice run and feel good about yourself at the end of the year.
I mean, it's what I thought anyway. I said I've been saying 7. After week 1, I said maybe 8. I really didn't like. Of course, you had bad Eagles fans that were saying 11 wins. Oh yeah, we're going to be
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, stop. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, and listen, I get being a fan of them, and yes, it's not like I come on Sundays. I sit back and watch the games. Like, yeah, we're going to lose. No, I'm yelling at the TV. I still want them to win, and I still cheer for them. But deep down, like after the game, I'm not angry. I'm not exhausted because it's
You said this. This is a season about progress. I've seen progress with Hurts. I've seen progress with Sirianni. I'm seeing progress with these young offensive linemen. We get a chance to play. I saw progress with Dickerson Sunday.
Yeah,
like I've seen progress with Smith and Watkins. I'm seeing even with Goddard. We knew what Goddard could do, but we're seeing some stuff there. But this brings me to my other thing. This is where I'm going to be somewhat irrational Eagles fan or irrational NFL fan. More and more, there's actually trades happening in the NFL trade deadline. You would agree that this is a let's see what we got type season, right? And then we make decisions on some players. Prime example, unless if somehow he ends up with 20 sacks in the next 14, 13 games, whatever's left, Derek Barnett's not back, right? Even if he gets 20 sacks, he might not be back.
Yeah, I'm done with Barnett.
Obviously this was a 1-year deal with Kerrigan. Kerrigan that's not coming back. But
he can kick rocks.
Yeah, right. So I say to you, I understand we got a bunch of picks coming our way, but if you're the Eagles and you're not expected to win, and there's some pieces that you pretty much know you're not going to re-sign, or that they've been would you look to trade them? And when I say some pieces, I'm going to name like a few names. Like if you could find a taker, would you trade Fletcher Cox?
No.
Really?
Look how bad our defense is now with Fletcher Cox and Hargrave.
But I feel that Fletcher Cox is part of the problem. I don't feel like he's done anything.
But the drop-off is so bad. No, I'm not. No.
I don't know if it's that bad dropping off from him to Williams at this point, Milton Williams.
Milton Williams has been mainly playing defensive end for the most part because of the whole injury to Brandon Graham.
Right. I mean, you have a very, very valid point. I'm not saying it's not valid. I just think that if I could find someone to take on that contract for Fletcher, and I'm not saying give him away.
Yeah, that's number one. You're not gonna find anybody to take that.
But if someone said, "Y'all give you a third and a fifth for Fletcher," and you already know the season ain't really going, I guess you're right. I mean, you already know that Williams. You already see what he can do. What's the point? There's no D tackle you're going to plug in there where you can see what they can do. I've heard some rumors about people talking about trading Slay. I think that Slay's getting an unfair rap. I don't think Slay's played bad at all.
I don't either. I don't. And people are like, oh, like they're talking, oh, you got cooked. Nigga, it's a zone.
Right.
It's a zone. It's a zone.
I've only seen Slay get cooked one time his entire career, and that was DK Metcalf in Seattle. That was it.
There was a couple games where he was getting there was a couple games in a row last year. He was getting.
He didn't look great, but to me, cooked is the receiver got over 100 yards on me.
Oh yeah, and that's only happened once. Like you say, yeah, it's happened twice in his whole career, and so that's just. And once was here. It's Slay. Okay, so I got into a debate with a gentleman on Facebook because he was trying to argue with me that, we need a shutdown corner. Right? I'm not saying our corners are top of the league, but they're serviceable corners right now. They're better than what we've had the last few years. Corner is the last position on the defense we need to fix right now.
Right.
And all things. And then he tried to argue with me saying that the reason why we run cover two we run so much cover two is because we don't have faith in our corners to run man. No, that's the system. Because it's the same thing they run in Minnesota and the same thing that he ran in Indy. It's the system. It's just
you don't have the personnel for that system. It's the exact opposite of what you said.
Especially at linebacker. if you want to run this type of defensive line in this front, you need the studs at linebacker, and you don't have it.
Right. So I'm gonna throw one more possible trade that I have no, the source for this trade is me. If you get my drift, I personally think something's going on with Miles Sanders because Doug didn't seem to want to give him touches, and so far, this staff doesn't seem to really want to give him touches. And I don't know, man. It seems like the overreaction feel is that they're trusting Gainwell more than Sanders. It seems like Gainwell's playing really well, and Gainwell looks really good out there, and Sanders really isn't getting that many touches. And I'm not sure what the deal is, but even in the first game, you saw once we, got to a certain point, they took Sanders out. So I don't know if it's they don't trust him, that they're going to fumble or what. I say all that to say, Sanders is looked at as a high regard player, and rightfully so, around the league. If someone was, let's say, going to offer you a second and a fifth, someone that might need a running back, someone that might feel like if they got a star running back, they would be in a Super Bowl in Baltimore, maybe.
No, that's dumb. You have a top tier running back
that you're not using, that you don't trust, and you're not going to re-sign.
I don't know. He still has 2 years left on his rookie contract.
He has one this year, next year.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean.
If you're not, I think
they'll resign him.
My thing is, if you're going to use him, absolutely. It just looks like it's.
I think it's more of a running back by committee because if you break it down, Miles Sanders had 11 touches, Gainwell had 10, and Gainwell had more passes thrown to him because he's more trustworthy with the ball. So you're saying, hey, let's trade Miles Sanders and go with fucking Gainwell and Scott? No.
What I'm saying is,
that's the type of shit. You're trying to see what you have, the building blocks. You're not just trying to throw away draft and get draft capitals and lose games.
That's not what I'm suggesting. And understand, what I'm suggesting is if you're not going to utilize this dude, this is now 2 coaching staffs ran into 4 games in here. And I'm being very clear. This is an overreaction. This is not something I full-heartedly believe, put in my fist. Right. But you have a guy that for some reason you're not utilizing. So I'm saying one of 2 things. Start using this dude. And really, the guy can take 20 carries or 20 touches. As you said, he should be getting 20 touches at least.
At least.
Or if your mind is made up that Gainwell's your future and you're going to pick up somebody else and you're not going to utilize this guy, if that's your mindset already, that you can't trust him, then get something for him because you're not going to get anything for him next year and he's just going to walk.
I don't know. I mean, I will say rookie year, Miles got a good run. Like he did have the fumble issues beginning of the year, got put in the doghouse, and they came on second half of the year.
This is what his 4th year.
Third year. It's only his 3rd year. So
I just don't like having somebody that's going to be so dynamic, and it seems like they don't trust him. And that's all. Right. Either give him an opportunity to earn your trust or stop wasting this dude's time.
I think it's because of what they did, and I think it's kind of what they did in Indy. You had to run it back by committee. Now, Miles Sanders should get more, but you know what I'm saying?
But let's go to our 5-pack question.
All right.
I will say, started off with this. You have had a chance to watch probably the most college football that you've watched in like 3-4 years.
Yes, absolutely.
So with that being said, with question number 1, anybody you've seen that you would love to see in Eagles green next year?
The safety from Penn State. I forget his daggone name. Me and you were talking about when we were watching that game. I think it's number 1. I think his number's number 1.
I'm just looking at Penn State. It's funny because I put in Penn State safety, and the first person that popped up was Michael Zordich. Go figure. But
him, or if he ends up entering the draft, Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State. One
the
of them.
cornerback, yeah. By the way, you're talking about Jaquan Brisker, who's a senior, number one.
Yeah.
6'1", 200.
He's a playmaker, bro, and he come up to hit you, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't think Joey Porter Jr. is going to come out. I know we don't necessarily. This is me being greedy, okay? Because we have a lot of picks. I know we don't need them, but I would love to see Jahan Dotson. Speaking of Penn State, the receiver on our team. I know we don't need him, but I mean the Cowboys didn't need CeeDee Lamb either. So
yeah, they kind of did.
I think the Cowboys needed nothing. They did. But it's interesting. I just thought, they're starting to do mock drafts, and I do think that you look at what Dallas did the past 2 years. They drafted just about strictly defense, with the exception of CeeDee Lamb.
Right.
Might be time we start doing some of that stuff.
Yes, because you have the weapons. You do have some weapons.
And this offensive line, as you mentioned last week, and it kind of proved itself that you got some players that could fill it. I personally think Driscoll would be fine taking over for Lane if needed.
I agree with you.
I think Dickerson's going to be okay at guard. He still needs to develop a lot. He still needs work.
He's coming off injury, but yeah, absolutely.
Right. I think that Herbig could be a starting guard. You want to figure out what you got to do with the Kelsey position, with center, but you have pieces there.
Yes.
Second question though. Did you get a chance to watch the Many Saints in Newark?
Yes, I did. I've watched it 3 times.
So what's your thoughts on it?
Me being a Sopranos fanatic, and when I say Sopranos fanatic, since 2007, I've binge watched the series every year, and I have not missed a year. So it was really good to me. If you were just like a fan of, I watched it and I really haven't seen it since 2007, you're kind of going to be like, I don't know. Or if you never really watched The Sopranos, you're going to think it sucked. I thought it was great, but
I liked it. I don't know if I would say it was really good. But also, you just mentioned, I've watched The Sopranos since 2007. So
there
you go. What's the last movie you have real high expectations for and you were extremely disappointed?
High expectations for...
I mean, like, you watched it and you borderline got angry. Like, are you kidding me?
Oh, shit.
And like, I always go back to it, and I think it's just because I was a kid. But watching that Mortal Kombat Annihilation, like literally me and my friends in middle school were just like, are you serious?
What's the one, John? It's recent. They just came out with a part 2.
Venom?
I thought it was a horror movie. It was like, no, I'll tell you one. I think it was called The Last Exorcism. That shit looked mad scary. I think it was called The Last Exorcism. It was out a few years ago. And I remember Rhonda and we were all hyped to see it. And it was the dumbest fucking thing like ever. And I was just like, are you fucking serious right now? Like, I was super mad. Like, I was like, yo, this is stupid.
Speaking of movie, it is October. A lot of people are really... this is the first time in a while that I've actually am into kind of Halloween and scary stuff right now. That's normally not my thing. But what horror movie to you is so bad it's actually good? Like, what's that?
Every horror movie made in the... all the Friday the 13th, all the...
there's a lot of candidates, but one that's like, it's obviously bad, but it's a guilty pleasure. Like...
Trolls.
See, I feel like Leprechaun would be up there for me.
Leprechaun's up there too. Yeah. You know what, another one? And Rhonda, like, this is crazy. Rhonda's my wife, by the way. The original Pet Cemetery, like, she thought that was like super scary as a kid. I was like, what? Like, even as a kid, I was like, what?
No, just like, you ever see Jeepers Creepers?
I hate that movie.
They showed the monster flying. I literally busted out laughing. Like it was. But then, when you hear the song play, it was great.
Jeepers Creepers are one of the worst fucking movies ever. Ever.
That's one of those movies you put on just as a goof with whoever you're with, just to see their reaction. Like,
that's just.
Keeping with that Halloween theme, your favorite all-time number one candy?
Candy?
Yeah, number one all time. If we went trick-or-treating and your bag was filled with this candy, it'd be like Christmas came early.
Snickers.
Really?
Yeah, I love Snickers.
I'm a Reese Cup guy.
I'm a Reese Cup guy too, but I you know what? Let me backtrack. Reese Cup. Yeah, I'll put Reese Cups over Snickers.
Reese Cup, you know. You put half in the freezer and freeze them half, and you got like
I mean, I love Snickers, but yeah, Reese Cup, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, and so that is 4, right? 4
I
questions?
believe so. I lose count.
Who's counting? And our final question. So, as we know, people always want to rush stuff. Like, I'm already seeing Christmas stuff up.
Yeah.
Between now and the end of the year, what is one thing as far as media-wise? I'm not talking personal. Media-wise, whether it's TV, video game, movie, or sports that you're looking forward to between now and December 31st?
There's a couple things. There's a couple things actually. There's the Boba Fett series.
Okay.
Far Cry 6.
Far Cry 6 might be it for me, man. And I wasn't big into Far. You got me into Far Cry like 2 years ago. I had never played any of them. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, they're dope as hell. And just seeing overall where the Eagles season's going, man.
Yeah, I mean, in no particular order, I want to see where the Eagles season goes. If it happens, I want to see how the Ben Simmons trade turns out. So I don't know how this guy stays on this team until the end of the year. I'm kind of curious to see how the Flyers season starts, sports-wise. I know you're not a fan of these movies, but I'm really excited to see the new Bond movie come out. I love James Bond movies, and it's gotten really, really high reviews. So we'll see. I really don't trust critics that much, but I'm a sucker for a good. I'm a sucker for a good James Bond movie, and I'm a sucker for a good Mission Impossible movie.
I've seen neither.
And I will say, although I have low expectations, very low expectations, I do want to see what this new Matrix movie is all about.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, I definitely would be willing to check out the Matrix because I'm a Keanu Reeves fan anyway.
Right. You know, Keanu.
Speaking of, even though I went into it thinking it was going to be dumb, but the simple fact that I think I lost the new Bill and Ted, holy shit. It's got to be
that was awful. I don't understand how people like that movie.
I watched it. I couldn't stop watching it. It was like fucking watching a car wreck. Like, I just can't stop watching this, but it was fucking horrible. I don't think I'll watch it again, but it was horrible.
Did you ever see, there was one Netflix movie, and it was about like this Asian couple dating in like this Asian community or whatever. But the reason why I bring it up is that it's a comedy, and the chick talks about that she met like her crush. They're supposed to be in a serious relationship. She's like, oh, I met such and such. He was my high school crush or whatever. And her high school crush ends up being Keanu Reeves. So I didn't realize Keanu Reeves is Asian. It might be some of the funniest shit I've ever seen Keanu Reeves do. I want to find a title for you. It's not a movie that you look forward to watching, but if you're really bored, you just put it on. I would say Keanu Reeves is only maybe like the 10 minutes of the whole movie, but it's the best 10 minutes of the whole movie. It's just the way he does stuff. He's really, really funny. So I might be like, yo, check out this movie, but just fast forward to this one. Because you rarely get to see Keanu Reeves be a jerk. And he's just like, gotta, almost jockey, like, yo, who the hell are you? Like, it's cool. But all right, that's our 5-pack of questions. Let's go into the schedule. Starting with actually really good Thursday night game. Rams at Seahawks.
I'm going to go with the Rams. Rams are nice, man. I'll say like a 28-24 game.
I actually am going to go with the Seahawks, the home team. I think it's just going to be, I think they win 27-24. 9:30 a.m. in London. You want to know why London doesn't have a team yet and isn't fans of football the way that you want them to be? Because you sent the Jets and the Falcons over there.
I'm going to go with the Jets, 20-17.
Tennessee didn't have both their starting wide receivers and their starting tight end, and they went to OT. Atlanta blew a fourth quarter lead. Imagine that. Against the the Washington football team. But I think Atlanta wins this one. I think it's 24-14 Atlanta. Lions at Vikings. The 0-4 Lions at 1-3 Vikings.
I think the Vikings win this 24-17.
I got the Vikings too. Kirk Cousins started to come back to earth, but I'm not a believer in. I feel the Lions' offense is very hot cold, but their defense really ain't doing much for me. I think even though they did well against a banged up Baltimore team, but they made Justin Fields look really good, in my opinion. So 28-21 Vikings. The Saints at Washington.
I'm gonna go Saints. 24-21.
And I got Washington 27-24.
Yeah, I almost picked Washington.
I think Washington's going to have an interesting decision because I think Washington's going to end up above 500 for the season. Their defense is not going to be that good, but Tyler Heineke is going to make them really think about drafting a quarterback or running with them.
You don't think Washington's defense is that good?
They haven't been so far this year. They have all the pieces to be very, very good. They should be elite, but they haven't been that good this year. A defense that I know is not good, and I don't think you'll press me on, is the Texans. They're at home against the Patriots, who should have beat the Bucs. Granted, I know it's a 56-yard field goal, but you got to hit that, bro.
That rain was bad. That was bad. That was really bad weather.
Got to hit that, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the bad weather. Yeah, I think New England go in this. I think that last game was definitely a stepping stone for Mac Jones, who so far has looked the best out of all the rookie quarterbacks this year.
Yeah, he is.
So, yeah, 27-20.
I have it New England 28-10. Until Tyrod Taylor comes back. I mean, Davis Mills just can't do anything with that squad, man.
Right.
You know. Packers at Bengals, 2-3-1. I'm sorry. Dolphins at Bucks.
I'm going Bucks. 28-14.
I have the Bucks 31-21. I don't think Tua will be back by then, but I don't think it matters. Green Bay at Cincinnati.
I think this is actually going to be a fun game. I'm going to go Green Bay. I'm going to go Green Bay 31-28.
Huh. I have Green Bay too, but I have them 28-24. I think since he's just not there yet.
Right. But I think it's still going to be a fun game.
Yeah. Denver at Pittsburgh.
I'm going to go Denver. Wait. Is Teddy Bridgewater playing? Because I know he had some issues.
He's probably going to be playing.
Okay. So if he's playing, I want to go Denver. I'll go Denver 24-21. I don't know. I like 24-21. Always seems kind of.
As long as TJ Watt plays, I think the Steelers actually win this one. I mean, I love Teddy, but my man played the Giants, the Jets, and I think it was the Texans. So had an easy route. And then you played the Ravens and didn't look that great. So.
All right. But somebody said that. That's why I was asking, because they said he was playing hurt.
Yeah, but we'll see. And if it's Drew Lock, I can't see. TJ Watt really showed why he deserves that money by not being there. You know, and it's not like he's out on purpose. But and I know Ben Roethlisberger looks cooked, and that offense looks cooked. But that Denver defense and everything that's going on. I just Pittsburgh at home. This looks like one of those games to me that Pittsburgh pulls out.
Okay.
Titans at Jaguars.
Are the Titans gonna have the receivers?
We don't know.
Oh shit. Damn. So that's because if they don't have those receivers, I just can't. They're just a fucking hot mess right now. Jaguars is just a hot mess. And speaking of the Sopranos, like Trevor Lawrence looks like Carmela and Furio's love child. I'm gonna go Tennessee, 24-20.
I don't think everybody's going to be back to Tennessee, but Jacksonville didn't look that bad against Cincinnati. They coughed it up. I think the Jaguars pull out a win, and no matter what the Titans do, they go have to deal with the fact that they lost to the Jets and the Jags. I have the Jaguars winning 27-20. Really good game to start off the 4:00 hour. Browns at Chargers.
Oh man, this is a tough one. It's one of the ones that could go either way, I think. Well, I'll go with the Browns. 30-27.
I have Cleveland. I think it's going to be just a tad high, 34-31. Chicago going into Las Vegas to play the Raiders.
Oh, that's Vegas. It's going to be like 28-13.
28-13. I have Vegas 31-17. Not a believer in Fields just yet, And it really is just Nagy. I just don't.
Yeah.
I think you're the one that told me that Mitch Trubisky took that offense to the playoffs twice. He's the GOAT.
Yes, he is officially the GOAT. Tom Brady has never met a challenge like that.
San Fran at Arizona.
Go with Arizona, man, off that big win. It's going to be a fun game, but Arizona, I think they're going to be on a high. I think San Fran's just not there yet. So I'm going to go 28-21 Arizona.
I think it'll be a little more high scoring. If it was at San Fran, I would pick San Fran. Since it's at Arizona, I'm picking Arizona. 34-30. The Giants, they finally won when I picked them, so now I don't feel obligated to pick them anymore against the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. Danny Dimes came off a career passing performance. I think he threw for like 400 yards.
Cowboys are going to win, and they're going to win, I'll say 31-17. Cowboys are just good, man.
I got Dallas too. You said what is it going to be 31-17?
Yeah.
I got them 38-24. Sunday night, which should be a really good game. Bills at the Chiefs.
That should be a fun game. Bills at the Chiefs. I just think the Bills are just playing better ball right now than the Chiefs are. Because, like I said, if we capitalize on some things and just do some bonehead penalties, we there's a chance we could have beat them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll say the Bills, and I want to say 38-35.
Ooh, real high scoring. I got Buffalo 31-27. And then Monday night, Mr. Monday Night, Carson Wentz goes into Baltimore to play the Ravens. Colts at Ravens.
Yeah. Yeah, Colts
kind of like a big win.
kind of like
Carson
Seattle
looked
with
really
Carson
good, dude.
Wentz.
Carson was like 27 for 31 for 132 yards.
Kind of like with Seattle with Carson, he just can't beat Baltimore. So yeah, I want to go Baltimore 30-20.
And I got Baltimore 27-10. I don't even think it's going to be that close.
No, I don't think it's going to be that close. I think the Chiefs scored like on a late touchdown. The Chiefs, Jesus. The Colts scoring a late touchdown.
And then we got our Birds going into Carolina to play the record-breaking rushing QB, Sam Darnold. Only got to have 5 rushing touchdowns in 4 games as a QB. Take that, Michael Vick. And the Carolina Panthers.
Upset. Philadelphia is going to go in there. Now, this is with the mindset, okay, that we continue to run the offense the way we ran it. And Sirianni building off of, and Hurts building off of the type of game they both called and played. And I think because real quick, sorry. If you think about it, even though it was a late touchdown, and for me, both times we ran small ball and maybe took a couple deep shots, we scored over 30. So the 2 games. So I think we're going to continue with that. And I'm going to say the Eagles are going to win 31-27.
I actually have the Eagles winning 2, and I have them winning 35-31. I understand McCaffrey's out. Chuba Hubbard is not chopped liver. Chuba Hubbard was a dark horse to win the Heisman. He's small. If he was bigger, he would have been a 2nd-round pick, not a 4th-round pick. And so the reason why I say that is if you let Chuba Hubbard rush for 120 yards, you're going to lose this game. But I think this defense is going to go back to looking at what they did with some of the stuff against Atlanta and try to do some of that, hey, really tighten up between the 20s. Because if you tighten up between the 20s, you're not great, but you're not god-awful. And that's the thing, man. They've given up now 2 40-point games. I understand it's Dallas and Kansas City, over 850 yards. You're not going to survive that way at all. And you're not giving Jalen another chance. But I think that they're going to make a couple stops. There's no one with the trio of receivers. Don't get me wrong. I love Robbie Anderson and the other receiver that they have on there too, DJ Moore, and Sam Darnold. They're not Dak and the triplet receivers they have in Dallas. They're not Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and they're not them. So I say that to say I have faith that they can, in fact, make some stops. And as you brought up, we had this game plan that we had against the Chiefs, against the Niners. Not only we win, we might win by 10.
Right.
I don't think we blow them out because I think, Shanahan would have adjusted too. But this is one of those games. I know I picked the Eagles every time except last week. Some of that has been with my heart, not my head. I expected them to be 1-3. Optimistically thought they'd be 2-2 because with the crowd that we had in San Fran, and you could argue they should be 2-2. So they are where I thought they'd be.
Right. 1-3, 2-2. Yeah, absolutely.
But I wouldn't be extremely disappointed if they lost to Carolina, depending on how they lose. I did think that they were out of the NFC South, they were going to be 2-2 out of the NFC South. Okay.
That they were going to be what?
2-2. So you have a possibility to be 3-1. You're already 1-1, or you're already 1-0. I don't think they're going to be Tampa. This is an opportunity to show how much you've grown. This is an opportunity. We all talk about stealing a game that people that might not think you're going to win. This is your chance to steal one. And Dallas showed we don't have the right tools that Dallas has.
Yeah, we don't.
Dallas showed, but Dallas showed that Darnold can be baited. that guy we seen with the Jets all those years, he still got some of them bad habits. Like, yo, let Slay do his thing.
They're not going to let Slay. They're going to run that stupid cover. It's just that we just got to hope that Sam Darnold will make a mistake, which I think he will. But I just don't. Carolina's defense is good, but it's not great. So I think we can move the ball on them.
Yeah. But we'll see, man. Listen, that's our show. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're posting some more stuff on the Two Brothers Same Mothers Facebook page. Find us on the podcast stuff as well. And beyond that, man, if there's something you want to see, something you would like us to talk about, or something, put it in the comments. Put it in the YouTube comments. Put it on our Facebook. However you want to do, because we're going to be building more content and things like that. Right now, we're in the midst of the season. We got to start looking. It's early, but actually start looking at some NFL draft prospects. We're starting to see some mock drafts and talk about that. Once again, I don't think we're going to get a top 10 pick from the Colts, but we might get a top 10 pick from the Dolphins. So,
right.
Which is why, not for nothing.
If the season ended today, we'd have 3 top 8. So
right. So, not for nothing, rather than root for the Eagles to lose, which some people do, because you want that pick. I never agree with that, unless if it was a 98 type deal where all hope is lost. How about we root for the Bucs this week to beat the Dolphins?
Yeah, there we go. Bucks.
Root for the Bucs to beat the Dolphins, and we can root for the Ravens to beat the Colts. Let's root for the Ravens to beat the Colts by 4, not by like 17, like we kind of predicted, because we want Wentz to stay in there. So that's our other rooted interest. You know what I mean? Don't go against the family.
There you go.
All right, y'all. Have a good week, man. Stay safe. Any other parting words?
Nope. Just, man, we need a win.
We do. And like I said, man, listen. With Washington, the Giants, the Jets, the Saints, the Lions, the schedule is going to get, that's 7 games. Schedule's going to get a lot easier. Not to mention, you got some with Denver and Carolina. Those are 2 games you can win.
Yeah.
Maybe Las Vegas, we see if Las Vegas falls apart too, but those are games you can do something with. So let's see what happens.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. Peace out.
Peace.